Welcome to the Oddity Shop, where the bizarre is always on sale.
Welcome in, you oddballs. This is the Oddity Shop, and I'm Kara with my wonderful best friend, Zach.
Hello.
Every time.
I'm just going to say it weirder every time.
But you don't. You say it exactly the same every time. It's fine. I like it. We're the podcast where we tell you
weird, creepy, odd,
our delusional
strange, delusional stories.
Chaotic.
From around the world.
Hopefully this isn't your hopefully this isn't your first episode.
And if it is your first, hopefully it's not your last.
Yeah, but we get it.
Right.
What's new with you, my friend?
Last week I had a movie recommendation for you and everybody else. This week I have a TV show mini-series recommendation.
Give it to me, baby.
I know, and I've already told you had to watch it, but I'm telling everybody else now.
Yeah.
Netflix's The Fall of the House of Usher has done something. Okay.
Yeah,
I love Mike Flanagan. He did Bly Manor, Midnight Mass, Haunting of Hill House. Haunting of Hill House has been my favorite haunted miniseries that knocked Rose red, which was a long-standing.
I really need to watch all of these.
So, The Fall of the House of Usher, I'm not going to give any spoilers. If you like creepy things, dark things, and also Edgar Allan Poe, watch this miniseries. It is beyond amazing. Have you started it yet? I'm going to keep asking you until you do. And I know because I keep asking you, you never will. But
I told you I'm just trying to not stream right now.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. But I have some really exciting news.
Ooh.
You guys.
And girls.
And gays.
And ladies. And theys.
And men. And theys. And thems. And everybody. Chad Michael fucking Murray liked my reel on Instagram
that he was tagged in.
First off, you know how the algorithm works, and it is crazy. So I have no followers. I have no likes on that fucking reel. What the hell is life? I actually have, and if it was clearer, I still might throw it on and just be like, you have to turn your volume up. I have me sitting in my living room when I realized this happened on camera, because I have a camera that faces my door wall and you can see it. And it is the funniest reaction because I am sweating. I'm dying. I'm sweating thinking about it. I've been in love with Chad Michael Murray for absolutely fucking ever. You had a crush on him when you were younger. I have a crush on him now still.
I mean, what?
Who didn't?
Girl got gay or they did not have
everybody.
A crush on Chad Michael Murray. I'm going to say just Michael Murray.
I'm sweating just thinking about it. So that is my big news, is that Chad Michael freaking Murray likes my reel.
Nice. I have no big news to share.
Not like that, you know.
Not like that. I'm kind of excited about a Halloween party I'm going to this weekend.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's exciting.
The annual family Halloween party.
Right?
Yeah. We're recycling costumes, but it'll at least be the costume's first Halloween debut.
Yeah, because this is from the Renaissance, so no one's seen it really.
Right, except for all of my social medias. But
I'm still stress panicking working on mine, because every time I get it to Amma, then it fails. It's just...
Oh, no. Not coming together yet?
It will. It's in my brain, and I have faith that it will be done.
I have faith in you, too. You know what else I have for you?
A question!
And honestly, I tried to find one related to the episode, so this one's just not. But it's just a question for you.
Oh, I like that, because a lot of times mine are never related.
I took a page right out of your book. All right.
Thank you.
Don't answer right away, because I have a caveat in here.
Ugh.
If you could investigate with any ghost hunting group other than Sam and Colby, who would you go with and why?
I know that you probably think that I'm lying, but I don't think I would have even picked Sam and Colby.
I guess I didn't need the caveat.
I mean, they would be on my list, but I think I would want to go with my boy Steve, because I love him.
So you'd be like the Taps, the ghost hunter guys?
Yeah, but I could just go with him.
Fair.
But I think because they're the OGs, and I feel like they're respectful, and then they know what they're doing. They know what they're talking about. Like, they're a lot on the historic side and the debunking. And I think that that would be an investigation and the people that I would feel really comfortable and safe with.
Nice. All right. I like that.
Sorry, Sam and Colby. I love you.
I kind of give it thought too, and I think I would go with they should have been on TV because the style of their show was more TV than YouTube, but they were only on YouTube. But it was Haunt Me, but ME was capital because they were from Maine.
Oh,
I made you watch an episode. I don't think you got into it.
No, but I think we watched a couple episodes of my house, right?
But I always really like them because, like, one, they're super respectful, but they kind of go in, like, one of them is kind of the dedicated historian. One is, like, going in with, like, the kind of magic thought to everything, right? And the other is going in with more of, like, the science or the skeptic mind.
Yeah.
And they tie in a lot of, like, alchemy to what they do and all this other stuff. I don't know. I thought it was just really unique, so I like them.
Okay.
But cool. Yeah, that's it. Question's not related to the story. Are you ready for our story?
Of course.
Good, because you're kind of stuck here. This one, though, it is close to home. It has been requested a handful of times, and I don't know how it took us over a year to even cover this one.
Yeah.
And it's a cryptid, but we talked about Michigan's famous shapeshifter. You know what it is.
Ruff.
Dogman, baby. So, obviously, we're from Michigan. Oh, God, the Blue's Clues noise again.
He's a dog. She's a dog.
Is Blue a girl?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Hey, Siri. Is Blue from Blue's Clues a girl? Yeah, the star of Blue's Clues, Blue, is a girl puppy.
Oh.
Who communicates to Steve and Joe through barks, which they understand.
I had no idea. Okay, well, hey, I learned something.
I think that everybody thinks that it's a boy only because Magenta is a girl, and that they think Blue and Magenta are boyfriend and girlfriend.
Well,
but
also,
I think
like,
they just
blue
be
is the
lesbies.
kind of like typical guy color, and pink is the girl color. So,
well, listen, we were trying to look outside of that.
Hey, I learned something. Are you ready to learn something?
Yes.
Because I was literally just going to ask you, like, you're from Michigan. You obviously know of the Dogman, but, like, how much do you know of the Dogman?
He's a dog and he's a man.
Perfect. Okay. That is the base knowledge I needed you to have and not know too much more. So, if you've never heard of the Dogman, listeners, travel to northern Michigan, especially around, like, spooky, creepy season, and if you listen to the radio long enough, you'll hear the song, The Legend. Have you ever heard the Dogman song?
No, so this is just a real quick pin, but I don't even think you remember that when we first started talking about doing this podcast at your old apartment, I barely even knew about cryptids. You were the one that really got me into them, other than like the Bigfoot. You were the one that was like, got me really into all of that stuff. So I don't know a lot of it like you did, like from your childhood. That was just never on my radar.
Oh, well, you're welcome.
I don't know how. So.
Okay.
No, I don't know the song. I know you sung it to me.
We'll come back to the song a little bit. But I grew up in North Michigan. Well, I moved there halfway through growing up. Heard the song plenty. Heard all the stories of the legends from classmates who had like supposedly seen the Dogman. But we're going to dig into it. Also, I got to call out at least two people, Megan and Alyssa, who have both requested this one.
Yes.
Over the course of a very long time. So I'm sorry, but we're finally there. Okay.
Yes, we are.
So who is the Dogman?
Ooh.
The Dogman has been seen around mostly the northwestern portion of the lower peninsula of Michigan, but also parts of Wisconsin and other parts of Michigan too. He is described as being a half dog, half man creature that lurks in the woods and on occasions has been known to stalk, hunt, and attack humans. So it's sort of werewolf-like in nature. All right. It's got the head of a dog, a body like a human. It's a biped, so it stands on 2 feet some of the time. Some kind of describe it as like almost like a half transformed werewolf, right? So it's still covered in fur.
And this is where everyone should be like, Kara, what's wrong with you? Because you love werewolves. Why don't you know more about this? And I'm really telling myself that I've failed in life because I don't.
Well, you'll learn. So just listen in. Some say it has blue eyes, others amber, while some sightings yet you see straight up black eyes staring at them.
You can see black. Ooh.
Just full black eyes. So when it's sighted as not only seen running through the woods on all fours, sometimes even with packs of actual dogs, but it can also get up, stand, and walk and run as a man would.
I love this so much.
When the creature is standing, it's reported to be over 7 feet tall and usually with a menacing snarl on its face. Now,
I am obsessed.
If that's not creepy enough, worse than the look of the Dogman is the sound of the Dogman. Like a dog, it does howl at night when it's on or getting on its prey, right? But it sounds like less of a howl of a dog or a wolf and more like a man screaming at the top of its lungs.
All I can think right now is my father-in-law making fun of me for wanting to pet every animal, and he'd be like, "You're the dumbass that would go try to pet this."
You would.
And I would.
See, me, if I'm hearing a man wolf screaming in the woods, I'm fucking booking it.
Oh, I just want to be friends.
Okay, so what is the Dogman? Some say
What
it's
is
just
a
an
Dogman?
unknown creature. Thank you for asking. Others think it's a shapeshifter that can sometimes appear as a human, sometimes appear as a dog. And others think it's a shapeshifter that somehow got stuck mid-transformation and is now cursed in its half-man, half-dog body. Right?
Okay.
So we talked about it being seen all over Michigan, a little bit in Wisconsin. In fact, there's a wide group of people who actually think that the Dogman of Michigan is actually the Bray Road monster of Wisconsin. So there's a lot of similarities.
Oh, I have heard that correlation. Okay.
All right. So going back to the legend, right? The song, that's the name of the song, The Legend. So in 1997, remember the 97? Just put that in your head.
It was the 90s.
A DJ in Traverse City, he decides to write a song based on the stories of the sightings of the creature. Aptly named The Legend. The DJ who wrote this, his name is Steve Cook, right? So it covers what are all these purportedly famous hauntings or sightings. We're going to put sightings in air quotes for now.
Okay.
If you haven't listened to it, I would honestly say pause this now, go back and listen to it. You can just YouTube The Legend Dogman and it'll come up with the song. But it's super creepy. It's got this like keyboard track to it. It's very eerie. Definitely gives you the chills. I remember there were plenty of nights like when we were in high school, you'd be driving down the back roads and like play it. And like, I remember I did it to a group of friends once. I stopped the car and like shut it down on this like dark back road. It was just like a way to creep each other out, right? The entire song goes through all the sightings. So let's start with sighting number 1. We're going back over 100 years to 1887 in Wexford County, Michigan. This is one of the first recorded sightings of the Dogman, and a group of lumberjacks are out working. They're working near the Manistee River. They come up on an animal that they think from a distance was a dog. They start chasing it because it's acting strange. God knows why. Mm-hmm. They chase him into a hollowed out log, and one of the lumberjacks starts poking around in there in a stick.
This sounds dumb.
Yeah, well, that's when it growls.
Well, yeah, you're getting poked with a stick.
Then it howls, which we all know sounds more like a human scream. So they kind of back up. It comes out of the log. It stands upright on its 2 legs, and the lumberjacks notice that this was not just some dog they had chased.
Can I ask a question?
No.
Okay.
No, go ahead.
If you answer it later, just ignore me. But is that the human sounding scream? Is that why they think that it's a shapeshifter? You'll get into it.
Yes. I'll get into it a little bit. Keep going. But it's just, people have different schools of thought on what it might be. That's just one of them because of the fact that it has the dog head, but more of a human body, and that it screams like both. So anyways, yeah, the lumberjacks are terrified. They pretty much don't talk about it again for most of their lives until one of them spills the beans later. Okay. So that was 1887. 10 years later, in 1897, a man near Buckley, Michigan, was found dead on his tractor at his farm.
Oh.
Which, not a lot of people are dying on tractors, but that itself isn't too strange.
Well, it could be like a heart attack or seizure, something.
When they found him, he hadn't been physically harmed. However, he did die of a heart attack. You're 100% correct.
Oh, okay.
But it's not really how he died. It was more of what was around the tractor that gave people cause for concern, because there were dog tracks around it, but they weren't 4 pause. It was sets
Right.
of 2. Okay.
Is it bipedal or pedal?
Bipedal.
Pedal.
Yeah.
I always do it wrong.
10 years later, again, the song recounts the story of a woman whose home would be surrounded by Dogman creatures at night.
I forgot that this was all a song. Okay.
Well, this is, remember, the song is made
In the
up
song.
from sightings.
Yeah, sightings, quotes.
Okay. So they would circle around the house, walking like men, howling somewhere between a man and a dog, almost as if they were stalking her.
Oh my God. I fucking love this.
Fast forward 10 years again, 1917. A sheriff
Oh my
finds a
God.
wagon, because cars, 1917, so like a wagon. And inside were 4 dead men whose eyes were wide open. Around their carts, tracks in the dust
Ooh.
that appeared to be from wolves. A medical examiner could only say that the men had died from fright.
That reminds me of the orangutan. Their eyes
Yeah.
are like, oh.
I feel like we always go back to the orangutan.
Why? Yeah. Oh.
Okay, the song goes on and on. It's recounting a new sighting or instance every 10 years, all the way up to 1987, right? So that's the last one in the song. Song comes out in
This
97.
is so crazy. Every 10 years?
Yeah,
It's wild.
And great lead-in, because the last line of the song, right, it really describes like the lore or the legend that gets retold. So I'm going to read the lyrics. Soon enough, I guess we'll know, because this is the time to fear. For another 10 years has come around, and the 7th year is here. Somewhere in the Northwoods darkness, a creature walks upright. And the best advice you may ever get is to never go out at night. Okay, so right now we have the whole setup. Dogman, 7-foot tall cryptid, lives in northern Michigan, comes out of the woods only every 10 years, and on years that end in 7.
That's so crazy.
Well, on these years, it hunts, stalks, and seems to have the ability to make men drop dead from fear.
Okay, but there is no marks on any of them, correct?
Correct.
Interesting.
Now, there's other sightings in the song too that talk about like their cars being scratched and stuff. So it's like scratching the houses,
But not
the
on
cars,
them.
but not on them.
So we're sucking souls.
What kind of like struck me about that, right? Especially as a kid, like this is the story we all heard in high school. It was the years that end in 7. You don't go out in the woods because you might run into the Dogman. It reminds me of like Jeepers Creepers.
Yes.
Right.
We also always go back to that.
Right. But like, what? Because he only comes out like it was like.
Yeah, something weird.
Something weird like that.
7 year.
Okay, so our DJ friend Steve, who wrote the song, he works for a radio station. He plays the song and it takes off just like wildfire. Becomes like wildly popular and the radio's most requested song.
I'm hoping that when I post this episode, The Legend is a song that I can play on the post.
I'm pretty sure it's copywritten, but we might be able to reach out to him.
No. What I mean is it might be a song that you can pick.
Gotcha. Okay. Now, that came out in 97. Actually, it was released 87 originally. He re-released it in 97.
Oh.
So fast forward, though, to the year 2007.
Oh my God, dude, that's when I graduated. I'm old.
Are you 4 years older than me? How do I always forget that?
Thank you.
I mean, you're not old at all. Okay, so 2007. At this point, the song has been out, popular for 10 years, but basically out for 20. And it's just part of Michigan's lore at this point, right? In 2007, though, is when the Gable film was discovered. Have you ever heard about the Gable film?
No, I don't think so.
So it's a 1970s, almost like home video that's filmed on an old 8mm camera. The story goes that it was lost from the 70s until it reappeared in the early 2000s, of course, on a year ending in a 7.
No.
There's lots of like different ideas of how the film was found. I remember from my high school, I heard that it was found at like an estate sale or garage sale.
Which kind of makes sense.
Right. The film, and you can actually find this on YouTube, but it starts with Aaron Gable, which is why it's called the Gable film. He is riding a snowmobile with a friend, and it's like, like when you used to make home videos, like you'd use like the same tape and just kind of like cut over parts of it, right? So it goes from snowmobiling to all of a sudden it's like a scene of
a fashion show.
Right. Well, then it cuts to Aaron like chopping down wood, and then like he's working on his car. Then it jumps to a scene where Aaron's driving down the road and his son's filming it. They're both sitting in their truck, and they see a creature in the wood on all fours.
Ooh.
And it's just kind of like stopped. It's probably like 30 yards from the road, just staring at them. So they stop the car, they get out. Aaron takes the camera, and they start to like approach this thing.
Okay.
So they catch it again on camera. It's still standing still. It's on all fours. It sort of looks like a bear. Like it's very thick, but it has pointed ears like a dog would.
Weird.
Then it starts running straight towards the camera. And in the last few seconds, it stands up on 2 feet, charges them. And the last shot is the Dogman seemingly attacking the Gables with the dog's mouth or maw kind of like coming right at the camera lens. And then, you can't see Aaron because he's holding the camera, but he falls and everything goes black and the film cuts.
Okay, Blair Witch.
Very much so.
Okay.
All right. So we've got your description of the Dogman.
Wait, I'm sorry. I just have to make sure. We found this in 2007?
Correct.
Okay.
We have the description of the Dogman. We've got the song that has made it wildly popular.
Yep.
And then 10 years later, we've got the Gable film.
Okay.
Want to ask you this. What do you think the song and the film have in common?
What do the song and the film have in common? Is this a trick question?
No.
No survivors?
Nope, they're both 100% completely fake and made up.
Well, the video I was going to say that can't be real.
Mm-hmm.
And the song, yeah, I should have said that because you kept saying in quotes.
I did kind of give it away a little bit.
Okay. So we made the song up. Okay.
No.
Okay.
Nobody knows this till quite some time later.
Can I ask? Okay.
Yeah.
Can I ask or no?
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Head. Okay. So the song was made up, but so there were never any of these reports. He made all the reports up.
Chill on that a second.
Okay.
So Mr. Cook, our song creator, he admits that he made the whole thing up. He created it as an April Fool's joke. He took pop culture, folk tales, sightings of other real creatures, and one lumberjack story from Wexford County and
mixed them all up.
Puts it all together and made the song for entertainment.
All right. Well, at least he did his research.
So we at least have one real sighting in here. Yeah. Kind of. Now he doesn't admit this obviously until after the Gable film comes out, because he's actually friends with the guy who created the Gable film.
Shut up.
Which was created in the early 2000s. Now, do you remember the old show Monster Quest?
No.
It came out probably about the same as like the original Ghost Hunters when all this stuff started getting popular on TV, but they were trying to either prove or debunk cryptids.
Okay.
So they were doing an episode on the Michigan Dogman because at this point it's still wildly popular, right? And as they're doing the filming, this guy named Mike Argusa admits to creating it. And this is like mid-episode or mid-filming of the Dogman episode. This comes out. So you would almost think like the producers would be like kind of pissed about it, except they run with it and they make it the season finale and they interview him and he shows them all the props, like the truck, the snowmobile, the ghillie suit he used to make the Dogman, the ears, everything. All right.
Wait, so he's saying that he was the Dogman in the Gables video?
Yeah, so the Gable, Aaron Gable.
I just wanted to make sure.
These guys were just in the 2000s playing with an 8mm camera, had heard the song, were friends with Steve Cook, and added evidence. All right, so case closed, right? No Dogman?
No, there's a Dogman.
Okay.
Come on now.
So Steve Cook was quoted saying, "I made it up completely from my own imagination as an April Fool's prank for the radio. However, I stumbled my way into a legend that goes all the way back to Native American times."
Mm-hmm.
As the song starts to play on the radio, not only were they getting requests for the songs, but they were getting hundreds of people calling in saying they've seen the creature and explain all sorts of sightings around Michigan, especially in the northwestern area of the Lower Peninsula. The Dogman may not be a creature that outright attacks humans and scares them to death on years that end in 7, but there's something that people are actually experiencing, and it happens quite often. some people are calling in saying that the Dogman had chased them out of their woods. They get in their car, it scratches their vehicle as they drive away. Others have been circled by packs of dogs with dogmen intermixed in their hunting camps. There's another kind of more famous sighting where these people were driving down the road. They think they see a bear eating roadkill by the side of the road. And as they drove by, it stands up on two legs and just takes off after them.
The Dogman in a pack of dogs is so iconic.
Right? It's like their leader.
I love it.
Researchers start to dig into it, and they find that just like in the song, there are sightings over the last 150 years. So the lumberjack story by the Manistee River, we said that was real. There's another man in the 1930s on the Muskegon River who is fishing when he's attacked by a pack of dogs. He takes his shotgun, fires it off into the air, scaring off the entire pack except for one who stood behind, who looked unfazed, stood up, snarled at him, and just stared him down until he took off running.
That's insane.
In the 50s, there were quite a few reports all over Allegan County. In the 60s, we have sightings all the way from Big Rapids to Cross Village, and then all across like the Manistee National Forest. It's so weird that he made the song off one sighting, right? But it's everywhere.
Yes, yeah.
So I'm not going to lie. I'm actually pretty convinced. And Aubrey, if you are listening, we saw the Dogman one time. We were driving through some backwoods. And it was dark. It was like fall. So the trees had like nothing left on them. It was just creepy. And I remember we were talking and we both just like went silent. And then Aubrey's like, you saw that, right? It was like, my headlights are on. You can only see, 20, 30 feet ahead of you with that. And this thing went right across the front of our car, blocking both headlights. It's just big black mass, like 8-foot tall thing on two legs. We didn't say anything at first. We just kind of both went completely silent.
Well, because
tons of sightings. Like I've experienced this thing. I'm convinced. But it gets even a little creepier yet.
Wait, a side note, if Aubrey listens, I would love for her to email us and write her memory of it.
Yes.
Okay, go on.
Not only has it been seen for the last 150 years, but this actually goes all the way back to the Odawa people of Michigan, the Native Americans. Of course, I like to take it back to the natives.
I like it. It should be taken back there.
Right. But they had kind of two schools of thought on the modern day Dogman. And this is, I think, where you were asking about the shape shifting. This is where that kind of stems from. So the natives always very respectful of the land, right? So like they would only kill animals because they needed to eat, and they would, give offerings back. It was this very much you serve us, we serve you sort of.
Which, can we do that?
Right? Let's get back to some semblance of respect.
No, you and I could. Let's figure out how we can do it. Okay, go.
Okay. Well, discussion for later.
Right.
One school of thought, right, was they respected the wolf people. They respected and feared them. They knew they had their own territory. Those were their woods, and they wouldn't go into them. But they described them as people who had the ability to shapeshift right into these wolf creatures, and would sometimes be in between both forms or on one side or the other.
And I think that's kind of where werewolves came from.
Absolutely. So that's the one school of thought, this creature that they respected, but were like, that's your space, and we're not going to go in there.
Mm-hmm.
There's another entity that the Odawa people also believed in that could explain the Dogman. And we could literally do, and we need to do, and we've talked about doing a whole episode on these.
I know what you're talking about.
What is it?
I can't say it.
It's not that one.
Okay.
It's the Wendigos.
You can't say that one either.
What? You can't say anything.
You can't. Just don't whistle at night.
That's the one you're thinking of.
I'm just, in general, don't whistle at night. And don't whistle in your home.
The Wendigos were strange. They're like somewhere between a spirit, an actual creature, or human. They're kind of described as a mix of all three.
It's like an they're just an in between. They're bopping around, doing that thing.
To me, it almost screams elemental, right? But most of the time, they're kind of like covered in fur, but also kind of bloody with fur and claws. Mm-hmm. Most times, they either have antlers like a deer or horns, and they have the ability to shapeshift into other creatures.
Yep.
It kind of describes some of the things we're seeing in sightings, though, where they hunt, stalk, and kill humans. And part of like the whole dying of fear or whatever from the legend song, or like the its ability to just strike fear into people would be because the Wendigo is actually believed to have the ability to possess humans and turn them into cannibals.
Yeah.
So whether it's the wolf people or Wendigo, whatever the native Odawa people were experiencing seems to have never gone away from Michigan. Which, so like, I mean, even though its popularity started from what years later became a hoax, it's got to be something real.
Yeah. Okay.
So I can see your thought going. I'm gonna give you one more quote, and then we're gonna talk about it. All right. So Steve Cook, our DJ friend again.
Yep.
I'm tremendously skeptical because I've sort of seen the way folklore becomes built from the creation of this song and what it's turned into. But what I do believe is that people who think they saw something really did. I also think the Dogman provides them with an avenue to explain what they couldn't explain for themselves. So, is it a half dog, half man creature? Is it a shapeshifter, a skinwalker? Or, as one YouTuber states, and I love this, a shapeshifter who just needs to get good? Or is it a Wendigo? What do you think?
All right. I don't think it's a Wendigo because... correct me if I'm wrong, Wendigos are usually spiritual people that have done wrong. They get stuck. And then, like you said, then they create almost like more like cannibalisms, like things like that. That's not really going on in this story. So I don't necessarily think it's that. I was thinking before you went back farther that it was more of like a Tulpa situation, like a thought form. Like fruition through the song being played all the time, like that thought being over and over and over again and then being put out, like manifested. I was kind of thinking it was more of like a Tulpa or Egregor. But then if you go back to Native Americans, then I was thinking of the word I'm not going to say, so flesh pedestrian. That's like a morbid. They say that and I love it. I think it's morbid. So then I was kind of thinking that and because they use familiar voices, but they usually use like people that you know's voices to lure you in. So I was kind of thinking like a human scream type of deal. But then that's kind of like what you were saying. I actually really like the idea of it being a shapeshifter, which I didn't think that at first. But when you said it was a shapeshifter that got stuck in a form, I was like, ooh, I be liking that.
I almost like think like shapeshifter that got stuck in a form, but not necessarily because it's over 150 years, right? Like maybe that's how it started, but now it's
but then you
bred enough that it's
like
still right. So it's this half. I was going to ask you if you believe in it, but I already know you believe in everything. This is one I actually fully believe in, partly because of my experience.
You saw one,
right? But it's just, there's hundreds and hundreds of sightings of it. It's Michigan's Bigfoot. And the fact that it goes into Wisconsin too. And parts of Canada have even seen it.
Well, and it's like we've touched on before. There isn't just one Bigfoot.
Right.
There isn't just one, maybe Mothman.
Dogman,
or
not
one.
Dogman.
But also, can I say, who the fuck named all of these cryptids? Because it's the dumbest shit ever. Bigfoot, Mothman, Dogman. We couldn't come up with something a little bit more creative.
I agree with you there. I'm not gonna lie too. Not only do I think I saw it once, but I'm pretty sure when we've been camping in the woods. So in high school, we did a lot of camping in the woods, to get away with certain extracurricular activities. Pretty sure we've heard some of these man-like scream howls.
Well, was it this camping sesh or last year's that you heard some wild things out there?
Yeah, but I think we've attributed that to my edible.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know.
That case closed on that one.
Yeah, no, I think I'd go with just a cryptid. Just that's what he is. It, them, they, them, all that. That's what they are. Or I really like the shapeshifter that kind of got stuck.
The shapeshifter who just needs to get good.
But I love, okay, did you ever hear this theory? Or maybe it's not a theory, it's a thing. But that a lot of people, it's really funny, have a physical attraction to Mothman.
Oh, I mean, you know, I want a sexy Mothman tattoo.
I know, but you used to fear him so much. But then people were talking about, I think it was on Two Girls, One Ghost, started talking about this. And they were talking about like all these people have like these like physical attractions to like, oh my God, like they like love Bigfoot and like the muscles on Mothman's butt and like whatever. And the whole time I'm thinking, now I would be a Dogman because werewolves. Give me a fucking werewolf any day. And I feel like Dogman is like a werewolf.
Definitely. I mean, it's very much in the same camp.
I'll take Dogman. This is great.
All right.
But yeah, I think this is a really good one.
And we have a shit ton of listeners from Michigan. So
we do.
If you've experienced your own sightings have family sightings or any stories, or just tell us if you believe in him or not, let us know. We want to hear your Dogman experiences.
Yeah, I had an experience like a couple months back. And I wish it was Dogman. Remember, I'm not going to say what it is because
flesh pedestrian.
You guys can figure. Oh, you went there.
I just like that.
Yeah, that's what it was. And I wish it was Dogman. That's all I have to say.
All right. Well,
give me Dogman.
That is it. I kept it short and sweet this week, but you know, we had to finally get the Michigan.
Unusual.
I know. You got to be proud of me.
I am. I love it. Well, cool. Thank you for teaching about me Thank you for teaching me about my new crush, Dogman.
Oh my God. You're so very welcome. All right. Well, like we said, Dogman stories, any other stories, we're ready to give you guys some more bonus episodes. You've heard our stories now. We want to hear yours.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you're liking this, a little review on whatever podcast player you are listening on.
Remember that Chad Michael Murray likes my reel, not yours.
Get over it.
And yeah, talk to us on social media. Zach's going to start posting more on his. I'm going to start posting more on mine. That we could see our faces. And we love you all. We really appreciate you. Thank you for giving us. I still can't believe we talked about last episode. We're over a year now, and I can't believe it.
We're like real podcasters.
We just really appreciate you. And, you know, that's that. Let's not get mushy and cry. You know, all the things. Most importantly, creep it real, oddballs.
Goodbye.
Bye.